I really want to sing the Rainbow song, but I feel like that's going to get me a copyright strike. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk you through my September TBR, and I am kind of taking it easy in September. I'm filming this at the start of August, just so we're clear, basically because I have time to do it right now. But I suspect that August is going to be a very heavy reading month. I'll link my August TBR in the description so you can see what I'm talking about. And in September, I go back to work. I'm a teacher, so we go back to school on the 1st of September, and it's going to be a very busy, intense time, as it always is in term time. So I decided to like take it easy, but I've still ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books on this TBR. So we're not taking it that easy, are we? Anyway, I was thinking about ways to choose my TBR this month. If you're new to my channel, I like to use like different games or get other people to pick TBRs for me, just to kind of keep it interesting. And I decided this month to embrace my love of the rainbow books, and we're going to have the colours of the rainbow pick my TBR. So I've got one reread that I need to read, and then the others are all different colours of the rainbow. Before we get into this, I'm going to go in the same order that I do on my bookshelves, and let's just move this slightly so you can see. So we start with white. Whoa! Start with white at this end, then red, then, oh, I've done it in a slightly different order here, but we're going to go with white, and then through the rainbow colours, and then black at the end. Let's put this back where we had you and hope we don't fall over. So that is the order we're going to go in. I know there's lots of debates over which order things should be in and what the colours of the rainbow are. These are the colours I've picked, and I'm going to talk you through the books. So before we get into the actual rainbow bit of the TBR, my reread for the month is going to be Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. These are the most stunning editions. These are the vintage classic editions. They've got the French flaps. Like, I've got the full Jane Austen set in these. I want to be reading this physical copy because if you can tell, I don't think you can really see on the screen, but all of these spines are cracked and I cannot ruin these books. So I'll be reading this on audiobook. It will be, as I said, a reread. It's been ages since I've read Sense and Sensibility, but I'm really excited for it. It's one of the shorter ones, and it's about a pair of sisters. We've got Eleanor and Marianne, and it's just about their lives, really. So yeah, that'll be my reread and my audiobook for the month. Right, let's kick off with white. For my white spine, so all of these colours, each colour, I have gone for a book with the colour that is that spine. I've tried to go for a mix of things. We've got some non-fiction in here, we've got 2 arcs, we've got a thriller, there's a whole mix of stuff. So let's start off with white. And for this one, I've chosen Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I'm so excited to read this book. Like, the hype for me in my head is quite high, which also means that I'm slightly nervous about it. I have read Addie LaRue by this author, and I'm told that if you liked Addie, you'll also like this. And in this one, we are following a girl called Olivia, who is 16. She's an orphan, and she is living in a children's home, I think, or an orphanage. And the only thing that she's got is her mother's diary. And she suddenly receives a letter one day from her uncle, who she didn't know about, but kind of welcoming her, telling her to come to Gallant, which is the family home. And in her mother's diary it says, do not return to Gallant. But, you know, she's a 16-year-old girl. She doesn't listen to her mother's advice, and she goes to Gallant. When she gets there, she is told that actually her uncle's been dead for years. Nobody knows who has sent that letter, and it's all a bit weird. But she decides to stay on at Gallant, and it's about what happens. And I'm very intrigued by this cover. So that is going to be my pick for white. For red, I have got an arc that was sent to me very kindly by Book Break in exchange for an honest review, and that is The Cat Who Caught a Killer by L.T. Shearer. This looks like the most Victoria book ever. I think it's basically a cozy mystery book, and it's been likened, it says perfect for fans of Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club and S.J. Bennett's The Winds Are Not. I haven't read The Winds Are Not, but I very much enjoy The Thursday Murder Club. You've got the first one over here, this is the second one. And it's about a cat named Conrad who helps solve this crime. So I'm very excited, and I'm assuming that's Conrad just there. This is an art copy. This comes out in October, so obviously it's going to be on my September TBR. So it comes out on the 27th of October. But I've got the arc, it's got a red spine, that will do. Then for yellow, we're going into non-fiction, and we're going to be picking up A Curious History of Sex by Kate Lister. I also have this on audiobook, but I feel like you're going to miss out on, like, images. I don't want to show too much and get demonetized by YouTube. And this is a book that I picked up when I was in Edinburgh, and I've seen it talked about loads. This is non-fiction. It's kind of what it says on the tin, and it's about the history of sex. But the reason I decided to buy it in the end is for the dedication, which says for my family, and then in brackets, sorry, and it just made me laugh. So I feel like this is going to be a really interesting, funny kind of exploration of the history of sex. And actually it looks huge, but quite a bit of it, that's the conclusion. Yeah, like this much of it is the references and the notes, and it's only 350 pages actually. So yeah, I'm excited to give this a go. Losing my voice, been filming too much today, and that's my pick for yellow. Then pink, another book that I picked up whilst I was with Leanne in Edinburgh. This was actually from her unhaul pile, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This had to be the choice for pink because it's the pinkest book I think I've ever seen. I don't really know anything about this except it's fantasy and it's queer and it's something to do with knights, and I was like, sounds great, I will give that a try. So for pink, that is what I'm going to be reading. Then for green, and I mean, is this green? It's like a minty green. Is another arc that I was sent directly by the publisher, and this again comes out in October, and this is The Strange Inheritance of Leah Fern by Rita Zoe Chin. This was sent to me by Melville House. The publishers, they reached out to me and I was like, thank you very much, sounds great. And this is set in the circus, I think. So she's a carnival traveller, then her mother disappears, and then 15 years later a woman appears on her doorstep, I think, with a series of letters, and she's trying to work out what happened to her mother. And again, this looks quite chunky, but it isn't really. It's like 350 pages and there's quite a lot of space on the page. So yeah, this comes out, as I've said, in October. It doesn't say exactly which date, but I'll be reading it in September, and that was my pick for green. I think that's like green enough. I'm weirdly lacking in green books. I don't know why that is, but there we go. That's what I picked for green. Then for purple, yeah, another book from my Edinburgh haul. I think, oh no, I've got one more. This is quite Edinburgh influenced. Is a short story collection. This is Asexual Myths and Tales by Elizabeth Hopkinson. This is an indie published book that I picked up in, I think, Lighthouse in Edinburgh. Did I leave the thing in here? No. And this is basically what it says on the tin. This is fairy tales retold from an asexual perspective, and I'm really intrigued to see what this is like. So that was my pick for purple. Then orange. This was also sent to me by Book Break, and it was the most orange spine on my shelves. So this is The Attic Child by Lola J. And it says this will undoubtedly break your heart but also make it sing, and it's two children separated by almost a century, bound by a secret. And I have to be honest, I haven't really looked into this because I don't want to know too much, but on the inside it says Lola J has created a hauntingly powerful, emotionally charged and unique dual narrative novel about family secrets, love and loss, identity and belonging, seen through the lens of Black British history in The Attic Child. Yes, I really want to read this. So yeah, that was obviously going to be my pick for orange, and I got two more. For blue, we have The Vacation by John Mars. So I loved the one by him, and then his other one that I've read, which was about a woman living in the attic, and I can't remember what it was called, was just okay. And again, this was sent to me by Book Break. So this says, how far would you run to escape your past? Venice Beach, Los Angeles, a paradise on earth. Tourists flock to the Golden Coast and the promise of Hollywood, but for 8 strangers at a beachfront hostel, there is far more on their minds than an extended vacation. All of them are running from something, and they all have secrets they'd kill to keep. So yeah, this looks like it'll be good. And like I said, I've had a mixed experience with John Mars, so I feel like this is kind of a make or break, possibly for me with this author. So yes, that was blue. It's got this great spine. And then last but not least, another book that I took out of Leanne's unhaul pile, and this is for black, and that is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. This has been all over the bookish community in the last 12 months or so, and every time I see someone talk about it, they're like, it's really good, but I can't tell you why. So I'm very intrigued. I know very little about it. It says on the inside, this is the story of a murderer, a stolen child, revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. You think you know what's inside the last house on Needless Street. You think you've read this story before. In the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, something lies buried, but it's not what you think. And I'm just really intrigued. Also, Leanne didn't enjoy it, which means I will probably love it because our reading tastes are very, very different. So yes, this is my choice for black. So that is my rainbow TBR, plus my reread for the month. Let's try and pick these up. Ugh. I am really excited about all of them. I think I am most looking forward to Gallant by V. Schwab and A Curious History of Sex. But I'm also really intrigued by The Last House on Needless Street, and obviously I'm looking forward to reading all of them because that is why I have chosen them. Oh, let's put this back down. So yeah, that's the TBR. Where would you start? Do you think a rainbow TBR is a good idea? How else should I choose my TBR? Because I'm starting to run out of ideas. So any ideas that you guys have got, please let me know. If you made it this far into the video, please leave me the rainbow emoji for the different coloured spines. Please subscribe if you like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.